Hello, I'm Simon Whistler. You're watching the Today I Found Out YouTube channel, and in the video today we're looking at the Great Emu War of 1932. And just before we get started, I will say that this video is brought to you by Audible. You can go to audible.com/brainfood to start your free trial and get a free audiobook today. Emus are native to Australia, and as everyone knows, nearly everything in Australia seems capable of killing you. If the sun doesn't do it, there are still redback spiders, funnel webs, and taipans, as well as others to contend with. It should come as no surprise then that the emu, part ostrich, part velociraptor, is also an annoyance bent on making the lives of people living in Australia miserable. Alright, so I was only joking about the velociraptor part, but in truth velociraptors are thought to have had feathers and looked something like a modern oversized turkey. We've actually made a video about that, and you can find a link to it in the description below. Emus more strongly resemble ostriches. They are large, tall, flightless birds with long necks and fluffy feathers. They live and breed in the middle portion of Australia, which is largely uninhabited by anyone with, well, sense. However, they don't mind traveling far and wide in search of food and water. In the wake of World War I, over 5,000 veterans had set up camp on the fringes of the emu's habitats in Western Australia. It was part of a soldier settlement program to help the soldiers make a living farming the land. However, drought caused many of the crops to fail, and emus had a tendency to gobble up what was left. Unfortunately, prices of things had skyrocketed after the war, meaning many of these ex-soldiers couldn't afford fences to keep the birds out. Being soldiers, well, they grabbed their guns and started shooting the birds. Some 3,000 emus were killed in 1928. However, despite these killings, by 1932 an estimated 20,000 emus invaded the farmers' fields and the bountiful food supply that they provided. The farmers knew that they had to do something. The usual way to lodge a complaint about farming conditions would have been to appeal to the Minister of Agriculture. The farmers didn't trust the Minister of Agriculture though, so they approached the Minister of Defense instead, who more or less declared war on the birds. He granted the farmers use of 2 Lewis machine guns and 10,000 bullets, plus the expertise of 2 gunners, as well as Major G.P.W. Meredith. Given these resources, it was sure to be an easy victory. Meredith led the assault on the emus only to find that the enemy was quick and cunning. Emus enjoyed the shade of nearby trees when they weren't chomping on the wheat crops, and with the vegetative cover, the gunners couldn't get a clean shot. In addition, after a few battles, the emus seemed to work out the range of the guns. They always stayed just out of range. One of the first battles ended in a spectacular failure on the part of the Australian farmer soldiers. About 100 emus had gathered in one place, and the soldiers decided to ambush them with 1 machine gun, thinking that they could take care of most of them pretty quickly. After about a dozen bullets fired, the machine gun jammed, giving the birds ample opportunity to run off, escaping to fight another day. When Meredith and his merry men realized how fast the emus could run, they had the idea to attach a machine gun on the back of a moving vehicle and chase after them. Again, this tactic failed. The gunman was too busy attempting to hold on to shoot the gun. The emus raced to the relative safety of the trees, regrouped, and then scattered. Even if the gunner had been able to shoot, the vehicle would only be able to chase after 1 bird at a time, making it impossible to kill off a large number of birds at once. Not a single bird was killed using this tactic. The end result of the war was arguably that the emus won via outlasting the humans. While there were no human casualties, only 986 of the roughly 20,000 emus were killed, and 9,860 bullets had been used up. With an exact 10-to-1 ratio of bullets to dead emu, the soldiers and the government were rightly embarrassed by the whole event and refused to repeat the experiment in later years. Some asked in Parliament whether or not medals would be given out for this war, and another noted that medals should be given to the emus who had won every round so far. Major Meredith went on to attest that the birds could take several bullets without batting an eyelash. In fact, 1 bird was hit by a truck some days after the initial shooting. The truck killed it, but when the emu was examined, they found 5 bullets in it. Meredith is on record as saying, "If we had a military division with the bullet-carrying capacity of these birds, it would face any army in the world. They could face machine guns with the invulnerability of tanks. They are like Zulus who even dum-dum bullets would not stop." The emus did wander off eventually, but that was because the wheat was harvested and they had little to eat, not because they couldn't stand up to the might of man and his machine gun. So yes, as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, Audible are back and they're sponsoring this episode of our channel. And I'm happy when this happens because, well, if you like learning every day with something like our videos, you're gonna love Audible. I think it's a really good, the things are well connected. It's learning and it's learning. And what we are offering with Audible is a completely free audiobook. This comes at no cost to you as part of a 30-day trial membership. membership. By taking advantage of this trial membership and getting that book, not only do you support Audible, but you help support this show and help us keep making our daily content. So here at Today I Found Out, we only make one video a day. I know it seems like a lot sometimes, but they're only short and you've got plenty more time in your day for learning, whether that's driving, commuting, exercising. I personally listen to a lot of Audible books when I run or doing chores, whatever. You can double up this time with Audible. So if you're running and listening to a book, you get to learn something while you're doing something else, or even better yet, why not listen to a book when you're doing some chores? Now, when I do one of these, Audible suggests that I recommend a book to you guys, and I will be quite honest that I haven't actually listened to the book that I'm recommending today, but it has a 4.6 star average. It's one of the best-selling history books on Audible. It's got like 6,000 reviews, so a lot of other people are saying it's a good book, and I will stand by them. Now, the book is called The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. It's a top 5 history bestseller. It's by a chap called William L. Shirer, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Anyway, it's a great book, and one reason I particularly want to recommend this is because, well, you get to get a free book on us, and I want you to get, a good one, a long one, and this book is 57 hours long. Just for some perspective, for those of you who don't know, like how long a regular audiobook would be, like a decent long fiction book would be like 10 or 11 hours, so this is like 5 times as much book. The cool thing about that free book is it doesn't matter how long it is, so I'd recommend you go and check out The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. Okay, in order to do that, do go through our link. Do go to audible.com/brainfood and search for the book The Rise and the Fall of the Third Reich, because by going through that link, which you can also see on the screen now, that helps support our channel, and well, that's really awesome if you do. Anyway, even if you don't want that book, if you want another book, they have a massive selection and you can get a free book on anything you want. It doesn't have to be the one I recommend. Just go to audible.com/brainfood. You get a 30-day free trial membership, which includes that free book, which even if you decide to discontinue your membership after the 30 days, you get to keep that book anyway. So just go to audible.com/brainfood and start your 30-day trial with a free audiobook today. Thanks for watching.